So, is there a pilot shortage? Because for the month of September, I could have worked just 3 days. Hi, my name is Darren. I'm a dad. I'm an airline pilot. I'm a husband of a scientist. I fly 777 for an airline based in Dallas. And if I would have played my cards right, I could have just worked 3 days last month. Let's talk about it. So, I was on reserve, short call reserve for the month of September. And it all began on September 1st, first day of the month, coincidentally, because they don't always line up as far as bid month and the calendar month. But on reserve the first and second of the month, it continued from the previous of August, and they didn't use me. Now, I was on reserve the previous 4 days, so they gave me I had to have a 7 day, it's called a 7 day conflict where I needed 30 hours off every 168 hours, I believe. The correct value will be put up here on the screen somewhere. But so I was given 30 hours off from midnight Tuesday until 6 a.m. on Wednesday the 4th. Then I was on a RAP, meaning reserve availability period. Short call reserve, they can call me between certain hours for a trip. The 4th, 5th, and 6th. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They never called me. I was off on the weekend. I made up the whole weekends off. Except for on Sunday, I did pick up a 3-day trip. And there's a video about this, how I worked 6 days in a row last month. But I picked up a 3-day trip starting with an 8:35 p.m. sign-in to London. I got done just about 3 in the afternoon on Tuesday. Then I was again on reserve on Wednesday. They called me on Wednesday, or notified me anyway, of a trip, the exact same pairing as far as the flight numbers as I did on Sunday. So I went to London again. Now the first one was a FO trip, meaning I got to fly it. The second one was a FB trip from an airline, also known as a relief pilot trip, meaning I'm the pilot in the captain seat and the FO seat during the cruise portion of the flight. But that's what I did. And I got done at 2:15 in the afternoon, around there, on Friday. Now the 14th, 15th, the weekend, I was off. I can hold weekends off somehow. I was home a lot, as you can tell by my facial hair. Now, for the 16th through 19th, Monday through Thursday, I was on short call reserve. They didn't call me or notify me. Now, I then had 6 days off in a row. And for these 6 days, again, I am a husband of a scientist. My wife, I convinced her to say, hey, you don't ever get to travel, especially by yourself, because she's always saying I'm traveling by myself a lot, right? So I said, hey, why don't you just go somewhere? You can go anywhere you want to in the world. So she went to go see her brother in New York and went to the Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and then saw New York City for a couple days by herself. I got to play single parent like she does when I travel. But anyways, I was off for 6 days in a row. Then, so again, on the 26th, I was on short call reserve. For 26th, 27th, 28th, that was a Saturday, I was on short call reserve. They never called me. Then I was off on the 29th and 30th. And today is the 1st of October, right? And yeah, I haven't been to work since September 13th. Now, a lot of people wonder, as a reserve pilot, if they don't call me, do I still get paid? Well, yes. Most airlines have a reserve guarantee, and at the current airline I'm currently at, the short call reserve guarantee is 76 hours. If I was on long call, it'd be 73 hours. Why the difference? Well, it's a little bit of an incentive, right, to be short call, because a short call pilot is more useful than a long call pilot to the airline. At this airline, if you're on long call, you get 12 to 14 hours, depending on some contract stuff, before you can have to be at the airport, right? For short call, it is less than 12 hours. There is no defined time where I currently work. It's something reasonable. What's reasonable? Yes. You know, if they call me at 2 in the afternoon and they tell me to be at the airport at 5 o'clock, that's reasonable. You know, 3 hours to get to the airport, right? To call me at 2 in the afternoon, saying we need you at the airport at 3:15, that's not so reasonable. And that's me living in Dallas. If I was in the New York area, maybe 2 in the afternoon, to be at the airport at 5 is not reasonable. It's gray. So, as far as what I was credited last month, and pay and credit, they're almost the same word, same meaning anyway. Again, I was credited with 76 hours for being short call reserve. And again, as long as I was available every single day, which I was, I get paid 76 hours. Now, because I picked up that extra 3-day trip, one of those days was day off on that Sunday, the other 2 days were reserve days, I got paid an extra 19 hours and 15 minutes, bringing my total credit for the month of 95 hours and 15 minutes. So I was still paid, even though I didn't have to go to work. Now, what did I lose? Well, I did lose some per diem, right? I get paid $3.40 per hour for every hour I'm away from base. Every hour of a trip, I get paid that. So my paycheck will be lower, but I was home a lot. I really only spent 2 nights in hotels last month. I think it might be a record for me, not having a vacation month. And it was almost like a vacation. Again, I only shave when I do a trip. And I haven't shaved my face since the 13th of September. Now, what did I do during that month? A lot of stuff around the house and a lot of family stuff. Again, my kids, I've kind of wondered if I'm ever going to go to work again because it's been very slow. Now, someone might be thinking, well, Darren, it's because the pilot shortage is over. The airlines don't need pilots anymore. That's not true. If you're a pilot in training or an aspiring pilot, you might be seeing these message boards where people are saying, the pilot shortage is over, airlines have stopped hiring, save your money. I disagree. I think the current the current pause in hiring anyway, is due to Boeing not being able to manufacture planes, and then the Pratt & Whitney engine issue going along with the Airbus Neos. When airlines plan their staffing, they don't plan it a month in advance. It's well over a year in advance. So spring, summer 2023, everything was fine. They figured, okay, we're gonna have this many planes coming next year. We have this many retirements, so we need this many more new pilots. And that's what they planned for. And so they started hiring that fall and that spring for the planned pilots they needed for fall of 2024. Well, then Boeing had issues, Pratt & Whitney had issues, but the airlines were still hiring, right? So like, hold on now. Now we're gonna have too many pilots. So what do they do? Well, airlines have to carry the fat. Right now it's always a very slow season after Labor Day. People go back to work, or kids go back to school. Travel just dives off a cliff. Bad analogy, but after Labor Day, everything slows down until the holiday season. Airlines are used to carrying the fat, so they have to carry the fat for a while, right? They can't just furlough pilots for a few months because it takes a long time to get them back up and running. So while yes, hiring has slowed down, I do think it'll pick back up. When it does pick back up, I think it'll be a little bit different than how it used to be. They used to give you, if you have 1,500 hours of flight time, they would say, okay, here's your ATP CTP course for free. We'll pay for it. Here's a signing bonus. And what plane do you want to fly? Where do you be based at? Now, a few people in the industry, some regionals especially, are asking pilots to sign these contracts, these long-term, heavy financial penalty contracts. And it is your decision to do this. You have to look at the pros and cons of it. But I don't think that is going to be the norm for the future. I think a few regional airlines are taking advantage of pilots right now, in my opinion, by making them sign these contracts in lieu of a job. Again, you do what you need to do. I think when hiring restarts, it'll be like the old days, where you have to prove yourself worthy of this job, what makes you better than the pilot next to you. And then when you get the job, it'll be standard, okay, you need to have all of this stuff to work here, including the ATP, CTP. Controversial, it is what it is, but you'll have to have that. And then they'll hire you and give you your hourly wage, and then you'll have to hustle to get to your next, if you want to go to the main line, hustle to get there, or you can go to a flow agreement. But I don't think the pilot shortage is over. I think hiring will resume, next spring as they have readjusted what they're going to need. Because again, even the place I work, we're retiring over 800 pilots next year alone. That's a lot. And it's going to be that way for a while. So they still have to hire for retirements, right? New airplanes are coming from Airbus. Not so much and from other Boeing, I guess, but new planes are coming. So it's not the end of the world. This is still a great career. If you are an aspiring pilot or a pilot in training, keep doing what you're doing. You will get there. It'll just be a little bit different for a little while. I think the people that got in the last 2 years, they got in an amazing time. But again, they started their whole process 3 to 4 years ago, right? They just had luck. But that is my September. Didn't fly very much. I hope to fly more in October. I do want to shave. I did have to actually trim my beard because it got a little longer than I wanted it to be. But slow, and I'm told this is normal for the fall for things to slow down a little bit. I think October could be about the same, but November should pick up. December should be busy, and then January it'll be slow again until spring. That's my video. It's a very short one for this week. Again, my name is Darren. I make videos about once a week about my career. Sometimes it's a trip to London or somewhere over in Europe for the most part, maybe Asia this month. But if I don't fly, then it's a video of me standing in front of my green screen talking about my career or my month. If you have questions, you can message me, preferably on Instagram. Drop me in the comments. I do respond to every comment, even the trolls. Otherwise, these are my social platforms. I appreciate your support. Have a great day, and as always, thank you for stopping by.